into it. There's so many moving pieces when it comes to this particular issue. Earlier today, we discussed the fact that the United States are saying that they've already provided millions and almost billions of dollars already supporting Nigeria's fight against insecurity. We've looked at the aspect of our own efforts and how well the government is saying that the numbers of insecurity incidents have improved over the past decade. Then there's also the question of narrative, where the government maintains that there's no religious targeted persecution taking place. But we know the evidence shows, sustained over a period of time, that there is religious targeting in a lot of the insecurity that we see. What's your take on all of these moving pieces?
Well, what I actually want the government to do, the government at both ends, is to approach this matter with sincerity of purpose and with candor. From the Nigerian end, the narrative has been that there is no religious persecution, no religious group is targeted. That is not entirely true. It is also true that the government is not directly responsible for any act of violence against Nigerian people. That has to be very clearly established. That the insecurity in the country is caused mainly by the activities of non-state actors that the government is opposed to and that the government has tried to find a way to combat in the past 15 years. These are the facts. I wish that the government sticks to the facts so that the Americans can see us as serious-minded, sincere, so we can work together to tackle this problem. I have seen how government officials in the past couple of days and weeks have labored to explain the fact, to explain that violence in Nigeria is not targeted against any particular group. It's just random. It kills everybody and all that. Let me put things in context. There are various groups attacking people in Nigeria and killing people, causing violence. Some of them are simply criminal terrorists, economic terrorists, who are killing everybody, kidnapping everybody to gain economic advantage. Those in Zamfara, Sokoto, and the rest who are trying to cordon off where we have gold and other minerals, creating insecurity to be able to have access to these things. They belong to this category. They don't have respect for anybody. They kill anybody along the line. But there are also groups that are targeting Christians. We must admit that. If we don't admit that, it will show insensitivity to Christians. It will also show lack of seriousness to tackle the problem. I mean, the attacks against people in Benue, in Plateau, Southern Kaduna, a whole lot of them are targeted against Christians. They kidnap priests, they kill them, they attack churches, burn them down, kill people. They choose religious holidays, Easter, Christmas, and attack. And, there is no way anybody can try to explain that away. The story is told, for instance, of the Abubakar, Abdullah Abubakar, I think is his name, in Plateau, the imam who shielded Christians in 2022, that the late President Buhari gave a national award. These were Christians that were attacked. Before the man shielded Christians, they had killed over 100. And the man was able to shield them, gave them protection, which was why he was praised. But if we are to reverse the trend, if the man were not an imam, if he were a pastor, he would have been killed. He would have just been among the casualties. And there are so many other instances of that, Christians are targeted. Sometimes even when they kidnap people randomly and take them to the bush, they try to get them to convert to, Islam. Some of them who are Muslims, they are given fair treatment. Some of them are even released. Those ones that refuse to, convert, they are either killed. I mean, Shaibu and all the other ones are, Leah Shaibu, and we know the story is, in the public domain. So we must admit the fact that Christians are targeted by some groups. Okay. There are also some groups who also kill people indiscriminately across the country. Like when we move to the southeast, for instance, The threat against the ordinary man in the Southeast is not the same as the threat against a policeman in the Southeast. There is particular target against security officials in the Southeast. It is true that they are killing everybody, but it's also true that they are also targeting security men and women in the Southeast. If we don't admit that, we will also not be able to address the problem in the Southeast correctly. Is this honesty and candor I wish the government adopts so that we can find a solution to this problem and then address it. Okay. Then from the American end, if it is to protect lives of Nigerians, including those of Christians, is the real desire. Military attack against maybe some targets, maybe in Sambisa Forest, someplace in Borno and Yobe, will not be the solution. That would maybe degrade them to some extent. But we know the nature of terrorism. You have to be patient to be able to combat terrorism. You have to work with those who know the terrain. The Americans alone cannot do so. The plan to come and just attack some places where you have terrorists and all that will also not be the solution to the problem. So a synergy between the Nigerian government and other foreign agencies and countries that want to assist, including the U.S., will be the way to go. Denial on the part of Nigeria is not the right approach.
Okay.
Random attack on the part of the U.S. against some terrorist camps and just ending it there will also not be the solution. So there has to be a way for the two sides to work together so solution can be found to this problem.
Thanks, Prof. I mean, you've said it all. It's just so shocking that those that started pushing the government propaganda are the same people that advocated for Leah Sharibu. And we know that Leah Sharibu, her only offense when she was taken away and kidnapped was that she was asked to change her religion, and she denied that plea from those people, or she denied that pressure. And she said she was going to stand with her religion. And that's only her offense. So is it shocking that those that advocated for Leah Sharibu then, all of a sudden now have what we call selective amnesia, and are the ones pushing the position of the government today as regards this issue? May God forgive us all. And may God let us realize that this our earthly race, heaven is priority. The next question I would like to ask you is, we sort of are in a catch-22 situation. The Americans have, explored three different angles they want to come in from. The limited approach, which I say, okay, probably will be the way forward. A coordinated attempt, to have the Americans work with the Nigerians. And that the other two approach, the medium and the heavy, will not work. Putting an aircraft carrier in the Gulf of Guinea and trying to send fighter jets in here and trying to send, missiles in here, it's not going to work. Even, the mild approach with drones hovering around, it's not going to work. Because even if you clear out hideouts, you still have to do a reconnaissance job. If you bomb somewhere, it's not that everybody there is going to die. There'll still be some bandits that are running around to regroup. So you need to flush them. You need to do the intelligence work. But also in doing that, let's talk about the complicity. We've had many past leaders in the past that have said there's a complicity in the security architecture of this country. That there's been compromise. And there have been people that lean and have sympathy towards these criminal elements. How can we solve that problem?
To my mind, that is the biggest of all the problems. By far, the most important issue to resolve. You recall that in 2014, in the aftermath of the kidnap of the Chibok girls, there were actually efforts from the United States to try to assist Nigeria to rescue them. But when the plans were put in place, the Americans discovered that Boko Haram had what they were planning to do. They said there were reports that they were wearing gas masks and all that, and that would have made the operation ineffective. When you have an enemy within, it becomes a huge, huge problem. Well, I do not know how the government hopes to do that, because we have gallant military men who are committed. Sadly, some of them have died because of the complicity of some of their colleagues who, gave information to Boko Haram and some other groups. There were times that you have successive ambushing of the Nigerian military, which was clearly arising from the information given by, some of their colleagues to Boko Haram. It is one of the biggest problems, apart from maybe inadequate weapons and the rest of them. It's one of the biggest problems because when you have an enemy within, then the capacity to, achieve your objective becomes greatly limited. What I think government should do is, within the military rank, there should be a way, to identify these people. Maybe not all of them. And the ones they identify, they should treat them as their action as treasonous and send them to military tribunal and probably execute them, if possible, to serve as a deterrent to those who have in mind doing such a thing moving forward. As we speak, just a couple of weeks ago, we had some military guys arrested for selling arms, supplying arms to terrorists. I mean, such people should not be treated with kid gloves. They should face military tribunal and possibly they should treat them like coup plotters. Execute them. Let us see some action on the part of the government within the military itself. Then, when people see that, that will act as a deterrent. And then we'll have less and less of that. Then we'll begin to have some success. Added to this is government inaction. I'm really shocked that after all these years, Boko Haram is still able to get as much weapon as we get. Now, as we speak, just less than 2 weeks ago, the governor of Borno, Babagana, the professor, the governor of Borno, Zulu, stated that, yes, Zulu, yes, stated that the Boko Haram now uses drones. I mean, how can a terrorist group where do they get drones from? So the fact that the government has not been able to track the sources of...
Okay, Professor Aworawo, we have some little ish at your end there. We'll fix it. We'll come back to you in a bit. We'll just fix it and come back to you. Thank you so much.